It was a little challenging for the brain, but I tell you, it was well worth it, and it's one of the most successful programs out there right now.
How many do you have pending?
We have one pending.
Just one pending, okay. And then,
This one right here.
gotcha, okay. And then, how many of these types of communities are there throughout Texas? Do you have any numbers on that?
It's
I think they build, what, a couple of hundred of them a year?
a year.
In Texas?
So we've had them since
86.
about 86.
16 to 20,
So,
that's 200, was that 40,000?
A lot.
400,000?
A lot.
Yeah.
Zeros to put on there,
Round it out,
40,000
a
or
lot.
something.
A lot, more than two.
I can get you, every year the department does publish an inventory, and from now on I will memorize it. But every year they put out an inventory, and they tell you the number of complexes and the number of units. And so you're talking hundreds of thousand units. And Texas is, as you can imagine, credits are based on population in your state. The state of Texas gets 60 million in credits every year. And they are oversubscribed by 3, 4, 5 times.
And to give some perspective, this project would get $500,000, and
Yes.
that's 60 million of credits.
Oh, okay.
Who's y'all's biggest competitor?
There's a lot of people in the industry.
It is the most competitive
It's very
business I've ever
competitive.
seen.
1 point will make or break your application.
Wow.
1 single solitary point, and I just thank God that they don't have half points.
And yet you still chose to give it to
I did,
I
I
wonder
did.
why.
I thought air compressor sales were tough.
I think I might try it.
And I'll say, and I
It's
think
well
Lauren
worth it for
Batt
what we do.
both alluded to this, I think the three of us all believe in this product. There's a need for it in every community, and I think it's very challenging to come in. We've been in city council meetings, we've been, yelled at, and why you bring this to our community, but when you actually get one built and it's occupied, and as Celine said, you've got a real true community, it's very rewarding.
The qualification process, is it any different for military personnel?
No,
No.
it's the same.
It's just the same across the board? And when you get into, I don't know, for lack of a better word, a mixed environment, you got 7 out of 41 are paying full market price, and, the guy 2 doors down gets a discount. Do you ever have any kind of contentious issue between tenants because, hey, how come he's getting a break? I mean, is that
No,
culturally that's so? Okay.
no, not at all. In fact, no one seems to really know.
Yeah.
It doesn't really seem to matter to them. What we see a lot is their kids play together, they're happy together, just being part of the same community. So we've not seen that.
I don't know, I guess they're not really aware of each other's.
Yeah,
They're not.
Yeah, it's not
They're
really
not.
good. And they're all scattered out, so it's not like one building is gonna be the building that pays the
So you
regular
haven't been in
They're all-
any nosy
they're all
communities,
mixed.
then?
Well, and I think they all kind of know, so which is good, because if somebody comes in and does fall on hard times, they know, they'll come in and say, hey, my income cut in half, I don't have anything.
That's typically
So-
what we'll
To me,
see.
it sounds kind of like that Disney has that military hotel thing on
Mhm.
campus in Florida.
Okay.
And your military, you can stay there and you pay your room rate is based upon your rank and what you can afford to pay.
Okay.
Which I think is cool, and I think most people that are aware of that, they think it's a
deserved.
great idea, yeah.
All right.
Well, in this program, there was a time where you really didn't have, you had your elderly developments or you had your general developments. You're starting to see more and more in this program where they're starting to push for certain types of housing. And one of the types of housing that we're seeing is for military. And a few years ago, I remember sitting at some board meetings where the board said, no, we can't do that, it's almost discriminating, we can't give a certain group to, but we're starting to see that now. So you have some communities out there that are geared for military, but it's still very early in its stages.
And with the properties that I supervise in San Antonio, because all of mine are in San Antonio, we have a lot of military at
Yeah.
our properties, so. And they benefit from a lot of the programs that we have, and a lot of them are veterans, a lot of them are on fixed
And then
VA.
here's where I was gonna go with it, is that you have a lot of disabled veterans or that come back from the war that, you know, are having some difficult times, or they're having to deal with physical, emotional issues. And so they're starting to make room in this program for housing that is more geared toward them.
How many of the units would be handicapped?
We would have the 2%, 5% rule.
Okay, so you're
which-
following ADA.
Yes, we are following ADA, the tax credit program here outlined in Texas, and the QAP has us doing the 5%, 2% at a minimum. Which, I'm sorry, what that means is that 5% of them would be for physical and 2% would be for the hearing impaired and visually impaired. Sorry.
We asked the question on our little road trip. I don't know if y'all want to know the answer to this question, but it was almost like, where does the threshold of, you know, income, where does it kick somebody from a lower rate apartment versus the full, the market value of it? And we were throwing numbers around. I remember at the complexes we went to visit, I think at 40,000 or 58,000 something.
Yeah, it depends on the house, the number of household members, but,
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, and that's another, but if it was a single person
right.
living in a one-bedroom apartment, you know, I think, because we're at 58,000 is our average median income out in Wilson County, that if you made $40,000 a year, you'd be paying full market. But if you were somewhere in that 25,000 range, so there's gonna be some sort of, you'll be, you know, in one of the other type homes. And then of course, yeah, the numbers change the whole formula, you know, the number of people, when you get it, changes that formula too. So, any other questions?
Thank you.
I'll take that as a no. Thank y'all for your presentation.
If I
No,
just add
Thank you.
from a timing standpoint, if
Yes.
y'all do decide to move forward, we would need that resolution with support in the financial commitment before our application is due. It's
The
27th
27th of February.
yeah, it would go on our council meeting, second week of February.
Is that the 12th?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it 12?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Great, and I think Mayor Gregory and Jennifer have our contact information, so if any other questions you think of after we leave, feel free to contact us directly.
Absolutely.
Thank you for your information.
Thanks for your
Yeah.
time.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much
Thanks,
for your
man.
time.
you bet.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll take a recess.
Yes, we just-